The airport buzzed with activity as passengers hurried to board their flights. Sergeant Dana Willis moved steadily through the crowd, wearing her Army uniform with quiet pride. After 13 months deployed overseas, she was finally heading home to Dallas. Exhausted but strong, Dana carried a heavy duffel bag slung over her shoulder. Her eyes reflected both relief and determination. Polite and calm, she greeted a few fellow travelers, ready for the last leg of her long journey. At her seat, Dana struggled to lift her duffel bag into the crowded overhead bin. She glanced toward the flight attendant, Joyce, and asked softly, "Could you help me with this, please?" Joyce's eyes narrowed, and her lips curled into a cold smile. "You people always want help," she said, with a sharp edge. Without warning, Joyce shoved Dana lightly aside. The passengers nearby glanced over but quickly looked away, uncomfortable and silent. Dana stood frozen, surprised not by the shove but the harshness behind it. Dana felt more hurt than shocked by the flight attendant's shove. She had faced danger in war zones, endured hardships far worse, but this unexpected hostility cut deeper. She blinked back the sting, refusing to let anger take over. Remaining calm, she took a steady breath and said firmly, "I'm a U.S. Army sergeant, ma'am." Her voice was steady, but her words carried the weight of her service and the dignity she demanded. Silence hung in the cabin as eyes shifted toward her. Joyce sneered back, "This isn't your base, Sergeant." The atmosphere tightened instantly. Passengers began whispering, some shaking their heads in disbelief. Yet no one stepped forward to challenge the flight attendant. The tension grew thick, as if everyone was waiting for what would happen next. Without hesitation, Dana stepped into the aisle, pulled out her phone, and dialed a number she knew well. Her calm, decisive actions signaled that this was far from over. Dana stepped quietly into the aisle and pulled out her phone. She dialed her commanding officer's number, her voice low and professional. "Sir, this is Sergeant Dana Willis. I've been physically pushed by airline staff while in uniform on a domestic flight," she reported clearly. "Yes, there are witnesses. Requesting enforcement of protocol under Code 487B. The line was silent for a moment before the officer responded firmly, "Understood, Sergeant. Stay where you are. Help is on the way." Dana's heart steadied as she ended the call, ready for what came next. Minutes later, the captain's voice came over the intercom, steady and official. "Ladies and gentlemen, Federal Military Operations has issued a directive to temporarily ground this flight. Please remain seated until further notice." Confused murmurs spread through the cabin. Passengers exchanged surprised glances, while Joyce's face drained of color. She remained silent, avoiding eye contact, as the weight of the situation settled over everyone on board. 2 TSA agents stepped onto the plane, their presence calm but commanding. Behind them came a representative from the Department of Defense and a senior airline official. The official's voice rang out clearly. "Where is Sergeant Dana Willis?" Dana rose calmly from her seat, meeting their eyes with quiet confidence. Joyce's face paled, her earlier arrogance replaced by nervousness. The official addressed the passengers. "We have received a complaint of aggression against an active-duty military member. This matter is now under federal investigation." Joyce protested loudly. "She's overreacting. I didn't push her that hard." But the silence quickly shifted as passengers began to speak up. A woman near the back whispered, "I saw her get pushed." A man added, "She was polite the entire time." The truth spread fast. The officials nodded and then escorted Joyce and 2 other crew members off the plane. The cabin's tension began to ease as justice quietly started to take its course. The airline offered Dana a formal apology, acknowledging the wrong done. She was quietly moved to a first-class seat, a small gesture of respect. Some passengers approached her softly to thank her. A little girl tugged at Dana's sleeve and whispered, "You're like a superhero." In that moment, Dana's strength was clear to everyone around her. By the time the plane landed, the story had already spread across news outlets. Headlines read, "Black Soldier Disrespected, Military Grounds Plane." A passenger's video had gone viral, showing the incident clearly. The airline released a public statement, confirming the dismissal of the involved staff. More importantly, the story sparked a national conversation about respect and dignity. Dana never wanted fame. She just stood firm for what was right. Sometimes silence isn't weakness, it's power.